everybody!
Hey! Welcome back to the channel.
So, new name change.
Yes.
Essentially, we posted that first video, and then when I actually looked up our name, I kind of found 4 other channels with the same name.
Yeah, so our main goal basically was to just bring over the Shack of Horrors. Well, she came on to help me with the Shack of Horrors, and we were going to change from Topher Shack of Horrors to the Shack of Horrors, and we were just going to bring that over from Instagram to YouTube, only to find out that there's like 4 Shack of Horrors, 1 Horror Shack, maybe 3 or 4 The Horror Shacks or Shack of Horrors, whatever.
I guess we're
that's
not
why
that creative.
If you are following us from YouTube and you haven't been to our Instagram feed, go ahead, and the link is actually down below. Head on over there, because we actually asked our fans over there what do they think the new name should be, and they helped us come up with the Shriek critique. Do you like it?
I dig the new name.
Yep.
Very creative.
Yep.
And when you Google it, nothing comes up.
Exactly. However, today you're probably here mainly so we can find out about our review on The Invisible Man, which comes out today on Friday, because we're going to actually record this, and then I'm going to edit this while she's at work, and it's going to be up this afternoon. But we actually went and saw this movie last night at like 10:30 at night when I got off from work, which is probably the latest that I've ever gone to see a movie since... When was the last time you saw a late night movie?
I honestly can't even remember. It might have been since college with one of the last Harry Potter movies. I've just never...
Oh, wow, yeah.
I don't go to movies that late at night anymore. But I will say, I feel like that really gave a little bit of a better experience. Like, it's Thursday night, we're going to a movie. It's spooky. I think it was a good, setting for us to watch it in. So, yeah. I'm not mad about it. I'm a little sleepy, but I'll get over it. Yeah. We have coffee. So, obviously, with The Invisible Man, if you've never heard of it before, it is based off the H.G. Wells book.
Which we happen to have right here. I haven't read it. I hear it's good, but it's on the big list, as you probably know.
Wait, you haven't read it?
No, I have a huge... I have the huge list. Look at all those books. Just outside of shot, you can see that there's actually 2 or 3 bookshelves full of horror movies and horror books that I just collect, and one day they will all get read.
So yes, it is based off the H.G. Wells book, and also we've already had The Invisible Man on screen before with the 1933 film with Claude Rains. Good movie. I don't find it's that scary.
No, that one, to me, as opposed to The Creature from the Black Lagoon, or as you have on your dress, every
other Universal
horror monster. I think the Invisible Man one was more like comedy and slapstick. Because it's like him just running in the room and punching somebody and running out going, ah!
Yeah, I almost refer to that movie as almost kind of like a black comedy. Because really you spend more time kind of laughing at how much of a dick he is than actually being scared by the idea of the Invisible Man.
Well, I mean, he accidentally becomes invisible with the liquid that he drinks, basically, and then slowly over time he's trying to figure out how to become visible again, but the invisible stuff is also making him go insane.
So with this new version, they definitely have rewritten. We've revamped, we've adapted. It's definitely not similar to the original story at all. So,
which I actually enjoyed.
Which I think is why I enjoy it a lot more. The movie's directed by Lee Winnall, who is very well known for writing the Saw franchise with James Wan. So he helped write the first few installments. As
well as directing Upgrade.
Yep, directed Upgrade, directed one of the Insidious movies, also wrote for some of the Insidious movies. So, we have a good director with this movie. Stars Elizabeth Moss, which, is there anyone who does not like Elizabeth Moss at this point?
No.
I mean, she was on Mad Men, she was on Top of the Lake, she obviously is in Handmaid's Tale now, which is really what she's pretty much known for these days.
And Jordan Peele's Us.
And she was in Us. Smaller role, a little bit different from what she normally does at this point, but...
But I think that was her first step into horror with Blumhouse.
Yes. So. The movie also stars Aldous Hodge, who was in Leverage, Storm Reed, and the person that I was most excited about, which was Oliver Jackson Cohen, which, if you do not know who he is, he played the grown-up Luke in The Haunting of Hill House. Now, when I heard he was cast in this, I was very excited to see him in something else, until I realized we were probably not going to see him.
Well, no, it's The Invisible Man.
I was like... But what he tried. But yeah, that's pretty much the general info of the movie. So
in fact, I was gonna say I don't think you really see him nor have him have any lines or close-ups really until the third half of the act.
Yeah, essentially, like, if you specifically liked Hill House and wanted to see him in this, you'll see him at the very beginning and the very end, and there's nothing in between.
But like as you saw in the trailer, it opens up with her in the house, in his house, and he's asleep. So like the first half is just him asleep.
Yeah, essentially.
If you really wanted to watch him sleep, watch the first half.
Now that we're through the basic information about the movie, how do we feel?
Oh, I liked it actually. I'm gonna give it. It had some pros. Elizabeth Moss did really well. The other actor, Aldous Hodge, over from Leverage. I'm glad to actually see him in something else other than Leverage because he was like one of my favorite actors in Leverage. I know you didn't see Leverage. You should watch it. It's not horror, but he did really well in that as well. So I'm glad to see him actually make it from like the small screen up to the big screen, and have more of a role that isn't like in the background with like 3 or 4 lines.
Yeah. So I definitely had some really good pros with this movie. So definitely when I saw the length of the movie, the 2-hour mark, I was concerned because the original movies definitely stick to like an hour and a half, less than an hour and a half. You know, just that's how I know the Universal monster pictures. So when it hit the 2-hour mark, I was wondering like with the adaptation how it was going to go and if they would lag it all throughout it. I'm happy to report I did not think it lagged at all. I thought the suspense was good. Definitely the sequences, they definitely feel like long sequences, but there wasn't any parts of the movie where I kind of felt like it got stale. Like each section kind of had its own like little part of plot, and it kind of was all resolved in each segment without it dragging on longer than I felt was necessary, which I liked.
I like that too. And on top of, I think the 2 actors that I mentioned being in there, probably the only other positive that I had is that if you've seen the trailer, you probably only saw like the first third of the movie. Honestly, they didn't really show much of the second half or the third half of the movie, so that was a plus.
And that is what I'm happy about because you know we've had so many issues with trailers we've seen lately that literally give away the whole movie. I definitely think Elizabeth Moss carried this movie.
Yes, I mean there wasn't a scene that she wasn't in.
Yeah, and I guess I was not expecting, like, obviously we know, if you saw the trailer, you know that it was written in a way where we're now focusing on a woman, aka Cecilia, Elizabeth Moss's character, and her breaking away from an abusive relationship where she was gaslit, hurt, hit, maybe even more than that. It doesn't really go into full graphic detail about what he actually did to her, but I kind of still somehow am blown away every time she's in a role. Like, I know she's a good actress, but like she definitely carried this movie because really the movie just focuses on her. And a lot of times, a lot of this movie deals with isolation, and you know that is obviously a thing that occurs in abusive relationships. Is they try to pull you away from the people that you love, and they want you isolated so you're dependent on them. And I think that message was definitely very relevant throughout the movie. I mean, definitely. Obviously we're gonna go into later details, but basically she does get further isolated throughout the movie, and you really sympathize with her, and it just becomes uncomfortable to watch. And I just thought she did a great job. Everybody else did too, but really, like, this was her movie. Like,
yeah. What cons did you have for this?
Honestly, not much. I mean, without giving a ton of details, I guess the only thing I really had a gripe at was at the very end, where I did not completely understand the motivation of one character.
Right.
And without giving much details before we get into
that area,
the Elizabeth Moss's husband has a brother, and there are some scenes with him, and then some revelations at the end that I didn't completely understand what his motivation was for. Like, we kind of get the idea because she makes comments about the brother about being spineless, not making his own opinions, not making his own executive decisions, and like I got that, but I didn't see any further motivations for the character himself, and that's really like my only gripe with this.
Right. Now, as our cat's looking at us, telling us to wrap up the time. Our manager over there. We're going to go ahead and on into the spoiler section. So right now, go ahead and you can leave now.
Why are you still watching?
Unless you want to see...
There's a spoiler.
Or hear the... Alright, so now we're in the spoiler section, and we're going to wrap this up as quick as possible, because we know like a 20-minute video that we did last week was quite long, and our cat's saying it's time for you to feed me, so we got to wrap this up. So...
Obviously, the big thing with this movie is the ending, which, you know, we had a twist already in the end, and it kind of reached a point where I was like, all right, is this it? Are we gonna stop the movie? Are we done? Right, and then it just kept going.
Yeah.
And basically, the big thing is that this eventually turns into a revenge movie, which I kind of got the vibes of. I just didn't think it would get to that level. And I think, especially with a lot of the heavy themes of abuse, of gaslighting, I think basically what it entailed is at the end of the movie, if he's still alive, she can't keep going on in the world. She has to kill him.
Right.
And, you know, when we have movies about abuse or anything that involves, like, a type of revenge, you know, I feel like years ago it was kind of so shocking, but now it's almost like a form of satisfaction watching this trash person get defeated at the end. And, you know, that's why I feel like this movie is very relevant, you know, with the Me Too area. I'm pretty sure that was what heavily influenced this story, you know, especially with Elizabeth Moss being cast in this and her work on Handmaid's Tale. You know, if it had any other ending, I don't think she would have done it.
No, and I think it even goes down to, like, not to say that it has nothing to do with the Me Too era or dealing with that, but it's also, as horror fans, you root for the final girl. Like, I mean, he didn't really attack other people, except for the sister.
Yeah, technically.
I mean, he attacked them, but he didn't do it in the way that he was attacked, like, really going after her. And so at the very end, you just have to be rooting for her to, like, put on the invisible suit that's in the closet that she hid in there, and literally come out and slice his throat, making it look like it was him. The same thing that he did to her sister, basically, but on camera. So, what would you rate it?
I mean, I loved it. I mean, the suspense was good. It didn't drag throughout the whole movie. The acting was great. I really liked the advancement with the invisible idea. Like, I definitely think it was important that they went on a more technological route, because I don't think a potion is realistic anymore.
No, and I would say it goes even more into the Universal Dark cinematic universe that they're trying to build, because I can't actually wait to see what they're going to do with this, because as she's walking out, she's got the invisible suit in her bag, so... Yeah,
which essentially, like, basically calls for a sequel.
Exactly. So for this one, I would go ahead and give it a 4 out of 5 stars, and I would definitely say that even though it's a 4 out of 5 stars, I still loved it, and I can't wait to get that on Blu-ray.
I give it a 4.5.
Give it a 4.5? That's alright. Can't wait till it comes on Blu-ray though. So
this is one we'll definitely be owning.
The Tuesday it comes out, we'll have it probably before that, because I'll probably order it off of Amazon. But thank you for tuning in. If you enjoyed this video, please give us a thumbs up. Feel free to leave us some comments down below on where you think that this cinematic universe that Universal Dark is actually trying to create. How do you think it's going to continue? And don't forget to hit the subscribe button. So, till next time, stay spooky.